In the Eastern Prefecture, there was a man surnamed some surname who made a living by snake charming. He once raised two well-trained snakes, both of which were green in color. The larger one was named the King and the smaller one was Urching. Erding had red spots on his forehead, was especially smart and gentle, and when flying around, he always did as he pleased. The snake people loved him more than other snakes. A year later, Da Qing passed away, thinking about filling his vacancy, but there was no time to deal with it. One night, he stayed at a temple in the mountains. After dawn, when the box was opened, King had already vanished. The snake man was almost beside himself with regret and anger. He searched everywhere and called out loudly, but there was no sign of him at all. But whenever it arrived at the dense forest and grassland, he would let it go, allowing it to find a comfortable place by itself. Soon it would return again. Therefore, he hoped it would come back on its own. He sat waiting. The sun was already high, and he had already lost hope, leaving in a depressed mood. Walked a few steps out of the door and heard some rustling sounds coming from the pile of firewood. Stopped and turned back in surprise. It was two green birds. I was very happy, as if I had found a treasure. Resting by the roadside, the snake also stopped moving. Looking back, he found a small snake following behind. He touched it and said, "I thought you were dead. Did your companion send you?" He took out food to feed it and also fed the small snake. Although the little snake did not leave, it curled up and dared not eat. King fed it by putting food in his mouth as if a host was entertaining a guest. The snake person fed it again, and then it started to eat. After finishing, it went into the bamboo box together with Urching. The lotus is taught to bend and return, always conforming to rules, differing from Urching in no way. So they named it Xiao King. It showcased its skills in various places and earned a huge amount of money. Generally, snake charmers use snakes that are only 2 chi long when performing. Larger ones would be replaced. Because this green snake is relatively docile, it has not been discarded for now. Another 2 or 3 years passed, and its length exceeded 3 chi. When sleeping, the box was filled by it, so they decided to throw it away. One day he came to the mountains east of Z, fed it with delicious food, and then released it while praying. After it left, it came back shortly afterwards, circling outside the bamboo containers. The snake person waved and said, "Go. There's no feast that doesn't end. From here, living in the big valley, you will surely become a dragon. How can you stay forever in a box?" So the snake left. The snake person watched it go far away. Not long after, he came back again, and no matter how they tried to drive him away, he wouldn't leave. He bumped his head against the bamboo crate, causing the small green one inside to vibrate as well. The snake person woke up and said, "Are you trying to say goodbye to Sha King?" Then he opened the box, and Sha King walked out directly. Then they touched heads and extended their tongues as if talking to each other. Soon after, they left together. Just when they thought Xiao King would not return, suddenly she came alone, walking slowly, and actually got into the box and lay down. From then on, he searched everywhere, but never found a suitable one. Meanwhile, Xiao King gradually grew up and could no longer be played with. Later, he obtained an ox that was also gentle, but in the end, it was still not as good as Xiao Qing. At that time, Xiao Qing had already been thicker than a child's arm. At first, King was in the mountains, and many woodcutters had seen it. After a few more years, it grew to several feet long, with a trunk as thick as a bull's mouth. It gradually began to chase people, so travelers going through the area warned each other and dared not take that road anymore. One day, the snake person passed by here. Suddenly, the snake rushed out like the wind. The snake person was very frightened and hurriedly ran away. The snake chased him more urgently. When he looked back, the snake was already almost upon him. But looking at the snake's head, the red spots were clearly visible, and then he realized it was King. He put down his burden and called out, King, King!" The snake immediately stopped moving, looked up at him for a long time, then leaped forward, wrapping around the person just like it used to play before, feeling that it had no ill intentions, but its body was too heavy, making it hard to bear. He fell to the ground in prayer, and only then did the snake loosen its grip. He bumped the box again with his head. The snake people understood his intention and opened the box, releasing Shao Qing. After the two snakes met, they entangled each other like syrup and only separated after a long time. The snake person said to Zhu Shaoxiang, "I've long wanted to part with you. Now I have a companion." Then he said to Cheng, "I hope you can bring it here and also take it back." He also warned, "There's no lack of food and water in the deep mountains. Don't disturb passing people, or you might invite heavenly punishment." The two snakes lowered their heads, as if they understood. The snake person stood there watching until the snake's trace was no longer visible, then left. Later, travelers came and went as usual, unaware of where the two snakes had gone. The commentator says, "A snake is merely a foolish creature, yet it still shows affection for an old friend, and it accepts advice as easily as rolling a round object." Strangely enough, a person who appears upright and moral suddenly, because of 10 years of friendship and generations of kindness, turns around to throw stones into the well, adding insult to injury. Otherwise, if both medicine and good advice are used, yet they remain indifferent, even becoming angry and regarding people as enemies, then such a person would be even more ruthless than this snake, wouldn't he?